What's up guys? So the update is live now and it's going to affect the PvP meta a little bit because of the changes to blessings. But before that, let me remind you that we got the new fragment champion, High Mother mode, and you can only get few chests every week opened or every 4 days or whatever. So you want to open these today and keep opening them. I have seen people get anything from 3 to 10 shards, so it can kind of vary a little bit. And also there was something that tons of people were asking about, and that is that we didn't get the free blessing chains, even though it was promised. But Plarium already said that they are aware of it and it is not intentional, so you will definitely get it, but right now it's not live, but they are aware of it, so don't panic. But let's talk about the blessing update. So as you can see right now, all of the blessings are giving all of the stats, which are very significant amount. Actually, let's look at my Rotos since he's the only Nuger that I got at 6 star. But basically, if you get a champion with 6 star blessing, you're gonna get an incredible amount of stats. But as far as Nugers go, you will get 15 speed if you get to level 6. But they kind of made the level 4 on blessings a lot more attractive, so you definitely want to aim level 4 blessing on all of your Nugers now. Sadly, I don't have that on anybody except Rotos, but I'm definitely trying to get it on both Helicat and Xena. I have been for a while, but I just haven't been lucky enough to get those souls in the shop. But apart from that, there is going to be some changes to the meta. First of all, everybody is getting these stats, and some champions are gonna benefit more from them than others. And I don't mean that supports get more accuracy, because everybody is also getting more resistance if you have the blessing. And of course, the biggest update or the biggest buff is to people that have 6 star blessings. So this is another way for Plarium to try boost the soulstone sales. Let's get that out of the way. That is very clear, because these amount of stats are incredibly huge deal actually in PvP. But there is also some champions that are gonna benefit from these more than others. If we just talk about purely stat-wise, champions like Rotos, who scale from multiple stats, like both attack and HP, is gonna get pretty significant damage buff from here. But also in terms of base stats, all of the champions that scale from HP and build very high HP, the fact that they get more defense is gonna make them a little bit more tanky. So it's another Taras buff as well. But outside of just the pure stats, now because all of the blessings give the exact same number of stats, you can basically choose whatever blessing you want on any champion. And that means, for instance, that on defense scaling Nugers, you can get both crit damage and defense now. They are gonna benefit a lot of this, so we are talking about Harima and so on. But also, it isn't the mere fact that some champions that didn't have right blessings that would give them the proper stats before. But now, for instance, you can put Polymorph on any Nuger, and I think that is going to be very popular, that if you have a 6 star blessing on, let's say, even Charge It, you could totally put Charge It in Polymorph, and basically any Nuger. But I will say that it's not going to be every Nuger in Polymorph. That might be your initial thought, but then those very tanky Nugers, let's say Taras, Rotos or Harima, Bone Armor is still a very good blessing, and many people are definitely gonna go for it on those champions. A big issue that Harima had in the past is that even if she counters Rotos and Charge It and so on very hard, but she has very low base HP of I think 16k, and some champions with just pure raw damage like Taras would still be able to kill her fairly easily. But now not only does she get extra crit damage, but she's also gonna get HP on top of the defense, so she's going to be a lot more tanky, especially if you also stack Ward of the Fallen with her passive. And I think Ward of the Fallen will be very popular on Tarases like it was in the past, but other tanky nukers would also use it. But basically I think most nukers for PvP are either gonna use Ward of the Fallen or Polymorph. Now some of the other blessings might be very good for PvE, like Crushing Rend was always very good for Hydra and so on. Emergency heal is gonna be very useful if you can heal yourself 15% every time a shield breaks. You can definitely use this on both Hydra and Cursed City. Even though I feel that this is very strong blessing, it's probably not going to be worth over Polymorph on support champions. But now you also have another option that people kind of did use to run in the past as well, but wasn't that popular, even though it has been used even in top platinum. And maybe you already have a couple champions on your team with Polymorph. You could totally put your Duchess or Siphi in Ward of the Fallen, and this would make it so that it's a lot harder to one-shot them, and maybe even Georgid or Rotos can't do it. And if that buys you enough time to pull off a revive, it can be very game-changing, and we will probably see a lot of this, especially when you pair it with Stone Skin and Bolster. So maybe on first turn you're immune to all damage, or you have reaction even for Georgid. Then on the second turn you have Bolster, but you still have the Ward of the Fallen, so the damage mitigation can be very high, and it might not be as easy to one-shot as it used to be in the past. Now of course supports are also gonna gain both HP and defense, so it's gonna make them a bit tankier in that way as well. But I don't think the defense makes that big difference on supports, like you're gonna need high damage to kill them anyway, and if they have 5000 or 5600 defense, it's actually not that big deal in practice, but it's still going to be significant in some cases. Like let's say that it's a nuker that doesn't have any ignore defense on their kit, and they don't have Helm Smasher proc, or it doesn't proc, then the extra 600 defense can actually be very impactful, and sometimes support champions might feel a lot more tanky than they used to be in the past. And yeah, I think probably some of those other blessings that people use in PvP, they're probably gonna lose a bit of popularity. Of course, to use Polymorph properly, you're going to need either accuracy or 6-star. So on most nukers, you're not gonna use it unless you have it at 6-star. The top accounts are of course gonna have it, and probably most people are not gonna have it on that many champions, but let's say that you get 6-star on your main nuker or your main 2 nukers. It is definitely something that is a lot more relevant than it used to be, and I will probably heavily consider doing that. If I had like Harima or Taras, I would definitely focus on getting them 6-star, but I don't really have a super strong second nuker, so I'm not really sure if I want to get 6-star on Helicat or Xena, but it's definitely something that more people should be going for. But yeah, I don't think something like Phantom Touch is going to be as popular anymore, and none of the other ones are super interesting. Now Heaven Cast is going to be good for PvE, and potentially for PvP, but probably not. You're still gonna prefer Polymorph over this, so... But for Hydra, it's probably going to be a top blessing from now on. I'm not gonna speculate on it that much, because I don't know the exact numbers, but the math guys in our clan have been talking about it, even though I didn't see any spreadsheets just yet, but it is likely going to be popular. But I don't think it's going to be a big deal for PvP, and probably we are going to see a lot less Lightning Cage and Phantom Touch and any other blessings on nukers. You can of course still use your occasional Temporal Chains, Intimidating Presence and Life Harvest. Those are pretty good, but I think we are gonna move on to using mostly Polymorph and Ward of the Fallen, so I kind of wanted to make a small video just to highlight that. And yeah, let me show you my Rotos stats. He has gotten a massive boost and looks super bonkers. Now keep in mind, this is a +2 Rotos, it's not fully empowered. This could be way stronger at +4. I'm sure I could get him to 400 crit damage if I wanted. But right now, wait, I don't think I even have the platinum. Oh, I do have platinum, never mind. But as you can see right now, I'm at 63k HP, 7.9k attack, 3.2k defense, which I think is going to be pretty significant for Rotos because you're already pretty tanky with your passive and so on, but this is also going to reduce the small damage that you take from supports, and your HP is gonna go up during the fight, so he's going to be actually as tanky as Judges in a long fight, or maybe even more tanky. And 244 speed, 345 crit damage. It's definitely a strong build. Rotos are getting a massive buff overall, but Harimas and UDKs are definitely still gonna keep them in check. I was kind of talking about it today, and I think if Harima and UDK weren't released to the game, Siphi and Rotos would probably still be on par with Taras and Marichka, but they are just so massively countered by UDK and Harima that it's kind of hard to get away from that. And even in a 1 versus 1 matchup, it's kind of hard because Taras can stun Rotos, but if you also have Siphi, then that really isn't an issue, and of course they both have good partner bonuses, but it isn't just Marichka who has good ones. Siphi and Rotos has very good ones too. But yeah, that's it for this video. I would definitely say that don't miss out on this fusion. On the off chance that you get her partner, she might be bonkers, but even without her partner, I think she looks very interesting with her 75% turn meter revive that resets cooldowns. But anyway, that's it for this video. See ya.